She repeatedly hits the child, and most recently, she bit the child, leaving a bruise on the child with teeth marks.
Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I have a clip from Judge Brian Kirkham at the 37th Circuit Court in Michigan. He's got a father in his courtroom who would like to get full custody of his child. And I'll let you guys be the judge.
Calling case 2023-3200 DC, Jeremy Simpson versus Gene Topekis. Today is Monday, January 8th, 2024 at 9:56 a.m.
Court will note the appearance of Ms. Reed on behalf of the plaintiff. This matter is before the court on the plaintiff's motion for temporary custody, parenting time, and support. Ms. Reed.
Thank you, Your Honor. The parties share one child together. That's Joseph, who's age 4. Plaintiff is requesting sole legal, sole physical custody of the minor child, the defendant having supervised parenting time. The defendant has had minimal contact with the child, even though the parties share the same residence. She is taken to locking herself in her bedroom. She repeatedly hits the child, and most recently, she bit the child, leaving a bruise on the child with teeth marks. The child is afraid of her, and due to her lack of supervision, the child has been permitted to wander off while in her care. And for all these reasons, my client does not let the child be alone with his mother. There's usually himself or a roommate, or the child is in daycare, so the child is not left alone in her care. Since she has been served, there's been repeated threats to kidnap the child. Last week, she has stated that if it does not go away today, that it doesn't matter what the court is going to do, that once my client gets home from work, she will not be at the home, the child will not be at the home, and he will not be able to find her. For all these reasons, we're requesting that she have supervised parenting time, submit to a psychological assessment with Dr. Haugen, and my client gets sole legal and sole physical custody. He is trying to find alternate housing to try and alleviate some of the stress that's going on in the house. But until the parties separate, we believe supervised parenting time is appropriate.
Okay. Mr. Pekas, what's your response?
Is that on to me now?
Yes.
The allegations are not fully accurate, Your Honor. I want 50-50 custody, and I request an attorney, an appointed attorney.
Okay, ma'am, we do not appoint attorneys in these types of cases, so you'll have to acquire an attorney.
Okay, I just wanted to ask. But also, the allegations are fully out of bias. They are out of context. And I am also going to get help for my depression, yes. But I believe that the child deserves 50-50 custody. And I am not saying Jeremy does not have a right. And also, with him knowing the fact of the allegations are not fully understandable. He basically is taking bits and pieces of it, Your Honor.
Yeah.
And for right now,
Go ahead.
if it was the case, Your Honor, if it was the case if he was feeling unsafe with me with our child, why is our child in my care right now?
Well, anything else, ma'am?
No, not seeing, Your Honor.
Anything else, Ms. Reed?
Yes, Your Honor, it's my understanding that the child might be in the care of the defendant right now. She made threats of getting potential PPOs against child care providers to bolster her case, and then went back on those threats. We don't know how valid those threats are, but that was part of the threat of kidnapping after today's hearing, was that my client wasn't allowed to permit the child to go to child care today, so the child would be in her care pending the result of today's hearing.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Pekas?
Your Honor, I asked, and Also, the caretaker actually even asked me if I wanted Joe home today, and I said yes. In my opinion, our friend who was staying with us was here to help me, not hinder me. She also has stated to his lawyer that she will also be defending me on my behalf also, Your Honor.
Okay.
And I was informing him of what my sister was telling me what to do. But, Your Honor, I would not do that to him.
Okay. Well, ma'am, just so you know that the child is in the jurisdiction of this court, and the court, when I grant, whatever I grant, that will be an order of the court. If you violate that
Yes,
court order, you could be held in contempt of court, you could be put in jail. So all I'm saying is that whatever that order is, you're gonna need to comply with that order.
Yes, Your Honor, I will fully comply with your ruling. I'm not going against it whatsoever.
Okay.
But also, he is not home every day, and he is in childcare from all the way till 4 a.m, all the way till he gets home at midnight.
Well, that's always unfortunate, and we'll maybe have to assess that at some point in the future as to what we're going to do in this matter. What I'm going to do on a temporary basis, I'm going to grant to the parties temporary joint legal custody. I'm going to grant physical custody to the plaintiff. The parties are, again, apparently still residing together, so they can work out parenting time in the meantime. If in fact there is no agreement, then the court would grant to the defendant standard parenting time, which is alternating weekends, one night through the week, alternating holidays, etc. Court will grant child support consistent with the child support formula, the incomes of the parties. And I'm not going to do anything as it relates at this point to the psychological assessment. The defendant has represented that she's going to get help for her depression. So, ma'am, when you do get help for the depression, provide that information to Miss Reed so she would have the information as to where you're going, who you're seeing, because the court will at some point want a report from that particular counselor. Anything else, Miss Reed?
Is the defendant's parenting time supervised?
No, I'm not going to do that at this point. Again, depending upon anything happening in the future, the court could review that at that particular time, but I'm not going to at this time.
I have nothing further.
Mr. Pecos, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, that will be the order of the court. Ms. Reed, you can prepare an order pursuant to 7-day notice of entry, and we'll have that order take immediate effect as of the time of this hearing.
All right, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. You're free to go. Have a good day.
It sounds to me like this little boy is much better off with the father, because beating and biting a 4-year-old is never the correct thing to do. Biting? I mean, come on, what are you teaching your child to do? To bite? Anyway, that's just kind of ridiculous. It sounds like the father is in a much more healthy place. That's just my opinion. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.